Now on the CTV News at 5, 51,000 Alberta teachers are on strike. Plus, weapons charges are laid in connection to Lethbridge school lockdowns. And why some say having the lowest minimum wage in the country is a benefit for Alberta.
Telling your stories. CTV News Lethbridge with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. 51,000 teachers across Alberta have walked off the job as the teacher strike begins. Late this afternoon, the province issued a lockout notice to teachers starting Thursday. That's in response to the strike action. Outside schools in Lethbridge, dozens of students gathered to show their support. Quinn Keenan reports.
I'm honored that I can show my support to them, even though my education is being put on pause and it is a busy year.
High school students spend much of the day rallying outside Winston Churchill High School. Behind them, their school was locked for the first school day without class. Those in attendance want their teachers to know they support them.
Support is everything in a situation like this. It's very complicated and hard on the teachers. They're more than just teachers. They're parents. They have stuff to do outside of school.
While students are supporting their teachers, they're disappointed it's gotten to this point. Many are now missing out on vital studies and extracurriculars.
That's pretty big for me, especially since I'm going into my diplomas after December in January. And so all my teachers are trying to get me ready for that, but it's hard to do that when we can't do classes for who knows how long.
To be on a sports team and having to pay like a fee to play these sports and then having them shut down early is ridiculous.
These are just some of the 700,000 students across the province not in school because of the strike. Exploratory talks between the province and ATA are ongoing, but no date has been set to return to the bargaining table. The province says it's ready to come back to the table and hammer out a deal. In a statement, Minister of Finance Nate Horner said a deal can't be reached without negotiating. The ATA needs to get back to the table so we can resolve this matter swiftly. Alberta's government remains committed to reaching a fair deal for our teachers so we can get our kids back to school. The ATA says the province's offers won't fix an overburdened education system. In its latest offer, the province would have hired 3,000 more teachers and 1,500 educational assistants. According to the ATA, they would need 5,000 teachers to get the student-teacher ratio under control.
The government says they don't know what teachers want. Well, yesterday, tens of thousands of Albertans across this province shared once again what teachers want. Teacher-student ratios, support for complex classrooms, and fair pay.
The Lethbridge School Division is reminding parents and caregivers not to leave children at school or a bus stop. The division issued a statement saying, "We know this is a very challenging time. We don't know how long this will last, but we do want you to know when job action is resolved, we will be happy to welcome our students, staff, and community back." Quinn Keenan, CTV News, Lethbridge.
Now, Alberta teachers do not receive strike pay while taking job action. It has been more than 23 years since Alberta last experienced a teacher strike. In 2002, the Klein government ordered teachers back to work 3 weeks later. Meanwhile, the town of Coaldale lockout that may soon be ending as the AUPE has submitted a counter-offer to the municipality. The workers' union submitted the offer on October 1st. Coaldale Town Council will meet tonight to discuss the offer during their council meeting. Discussion on the union's offer will be done in a closed session. The town will make their decision on the offer public tomorrow. The Lethbridge Police Service is implementing a temporary alternative delivery method for all photo radar tickets during the Canada Post strike. Starting today, members of the Corps of Commissionaires who are contracted to do LPS will deliver tickets to the homes of registered owners. For residents without mailboxes, tickets will be affixed to the front door. Once the postal strike is resolved, tickets will resume being sent in by mail. And an 18-year-old man, meanwhile, has been charged after Lethbridge police alleged he brandished a knife in a school cafeteria Friday. Police were called to Catholic Central High School around 11:15 Friday morning following a report that the man had a knife. Police say the man confronted two students, causing them to fear for their safety before leaving the school and fleeing on foot. 4 surrounding schools were also placed on lockdown. The man was arrested along the 2400 block of Parkside Drive South. Tage Croce from Standoff is facing multiple charges. A 36-year-old Lethbridge man is facing charges in the alleged kidnapping and unlawful confinement of a woman. Police say late Thursday night, a woman at a park and ride on the 700 block of 5th Avenue South thought that a car she saw belonged to a friend. Now, when the woman leaned to look inside, she was pulled in through the vehicle passenger window. The woman threw the keys out of the car's window near Castle Apartments on 2nd Avenue South and was rescued by a bystander. Dwight Joe Sam Wadsworth is charged with sexual assault, kidnapping, unlawful confinement, and assault. Police are urging anyone who may have witnessed the incident to contact them. Medicine Hat police are warning the public after the release of a high-risk offender in that community. 30-year-old Bradley Reed Deering from Medicine Hat has completed his sentence for sexual assault, unlawful confinement, and assault. He is under an 18-month probation, which includes a number of restrictions like not possessing weapons or consuming alcohol or illegal drugs. Police are releasing the information and his photo to allow residents to take precautionary measures and not to take any form of vigilante action. All right, Danielle, we're getting to that time of year when you have to start looking for your scraper in the morning for your car.
Yes,
Oh.
but not quite for the rest of this week. I mean, by Sunday it gets a little tricky once again. But we have a nice stretch of some warmer weather. It's going to warm up into the 20s for tomorrow, for example, in many communities in the far south. And we're looking at quiet weather as well for the next few days, and it's fairly quiet out there right now, mainly sunny in Lethbridge, 15 degrees. These are temperatures where they should be for this time of year. It's also 15 in Medicine Hat, 16 in Brooks, 14 in Milk River, and close to that in Pincher Creek at 15. Also, the winds have been relatively calm in most communities for the day as well. Again, temperatures will bump back up for many communities in the 20s tomorrow. We'll talk about that longer range forecast coming up, Jackie.
All right, thanks, Danielle. Well, Alberta now has the lowest minimum wage in the country. While workers would love a pay bump, not everyone believes it's a bad thing, at least for now. Amanda Anderson explains why.
Alberta workers earning minimum wage haven't seen an increase in 7 years. The $15 an hour wage was implemented in 2018 prior to a 20% spike in inflation.
But relative to wages overall, Alberta is on the lower end, but still kind of in line with what we see across countries, where minimum wages tend to be between 40 to 60% of the average. And Alberta right now is about 45.
5 provinces recently increased their minimum wage, making Alberta the lowest in the country. The Premier says that won't change anytime soon.
When the NDP increased the minimum wage from $10 to $15, we saw mass layoffs of young people.
According to an August Labour Force survey, Alberta has a youth unemployment rate of 17%, slightly higher than the national average. Restaurants Canada says 40% of staff in its industry are young people. Mark Von Schelwich says increasing the minimum wage now, when restaurants are still recovering from the pandemic and facing rising operating costs, would be devastating.
When you have a big increase in the minimum wage, that gets reflected through the entire payroll, because you have to restore the relative income levels of the people that have been there a while, the more experienced people.
So even if one is not losing a job, there might be fewer hours to go around. Businesses might substitute away from the same number of workers and maybe use technology.
Saskatchewan is one of a few provinces that does annual increases tied to inflation. Their wage went up 35 cents.
Even though each single change along the way might be small, it does add up to a lot. So it's easier for businesses to handle because there's not a large shock to labor costs.
Toom says Alberta's low tax rates and lack of a sales tax does play a small role offsetting the lower wage.
But this is something that would account for approximately $1 an hour variation between where Alberta is and the higher tax jurisdictions in Canada. So it's part of it, but not something that would bridge the full gap.
He says had minimum wage increases been tied to prices, Alberta would be sitting around $18 right now. Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
The City of Lethbridge is moving forward with plans to retire the Dave Elton Skate Park. The decision follows a thorough review of the site's condition, use patterns, and future potential for community development. The city says the skate park's aging infrastructure has become increasingly difficult to maintain, and data collected since 2023 shows the park is underutilized, with most activity happening late at night. The current site is earmarked for the expansion of the BMX track. Work to convert the space back to a natural area will take about a month.
The condition is quite poor. We've noticed that the usage is way down. We actually put in counting devices over the last couple of years to monitor when people were coming and how many were coming. And we're just not seeing very many numbers, and most of those numbers are occurring in the evenings. So probably for hanging out, non-recreational activity.
Well, the Dave Elton location will be closing. There are 3 other skate parks throughout the city. During this year's Fire Prevention Week, Lethbridge Fire and Emergency Services is reminding residents to properly store and dispose of lithium-ion batteries. The fire department has responded to several fires in the city caused by batteries recently. The annual campaign is reminding residents to buy certified products, charge devices safely, and recycle batteries responsibly. Lithium-ion batteries are everywhere, from phones and laptops to e-bikes, power tools, even toys.
Make sure they're being charged on a hard surface. Make sure they're either being plugged directly into the wall or into a surge-protected power bar. Don't leave them charging all the time. When it comes to tools, for example, like this drill battery and things like this in your garage or in your shed or in your basement, don't have it charging 24/7. There's no need.
We've had several recent examples where these batteries have ended up in a blue cart or a green cart and actually started a small fire in the collection vehicle itself. So that obviously creates a operational hazard for our drivers and for our truck. There's a chance of losing that asset altogether, creating a health and safety risk for the driver to put that fire out.
Batteries cannot be put into the black, blue, or green bins, but can be disposed of directly at the Waste and Recycling Centre or at most electronic stores in the city. The Interfaith Food Bank has been accredited through Food Bank Canada's Standards of Excellence program. The standards are designed as a baseline set of standards to which Interfaith and other food banks hold themselves accountable. It also provides a benchmark for future performance improvement in client service and care, food operations, safe handling, and more. As Interfaith celebrates the accreditation, it also is competing in the Grow for Good grant contest with its garden. The outdoor space is one of 5 competing across Canada. To win $2,500, residents can vote for Interfaith's food garden through its website. It is time for our first break, which means Danielle has the forecast when we return. Also, why today is the day to check in on your mental health.
Oh my, sky camp facing northwest. What a stunning day today. Temperatures are not warm, they are normal. In those mid-teens for a lot of the far south right now. We're going to get warm tomorrow. In fact, this week is really looking quiet and stable, not a whole lot of eventful weather until the weekend. Talk about that in a second. 13 degrees, the high so far in the city of Calgary. It may add another degree before we start cooling down in Calgary for the day. But check out what's happening out east. Look at all that heat in southern Ontario. Toronto got to 28 today. Ottawa got to 29. Montreal also 29. And check out Fredericton, 30, and Halifax almost 30. That's quite a lot of heat out east. We're not going to get that kind of heat for the rest of this week, but we will get into the 20s in many communities, and I'll show you that in the longer range in just a second here. 13 degrees again is the temperature in Calgary, 15 in Lethbridge and Milk River, and Medicine Hat, 16 in Brooks and in Pincher Creek, and it was a calm wind day as well. So temperatures right where we should be, winds fairly calm except Pincher Creek, a little breezy at 43 kilometers per hour. That was the maximum wind gust there. We are going to tack on some wind tomorrow, so it'll get a little gustier. Most communities will have 40 kilometer per hour gusts. Pincher Creek, 50 kilometer per hour gusts tomorrow. It's quiet right now. This is all dying out as it tracks towards the far south, so we're not looking at any real active weather. Just some cloudy periods at times. I'm going to advance this. A lot of sunshine expected for this work week, but we will see some cloudy periods at times, and again, the wind will pick up tomorrow. But basically the edge of that ridge, which is going to carry all the cloud cover and the moisture, is up and around to the north, mainly to the north of Calgary. So far south, we're not dealing with any of that for this work week. Anyway, that does slump south. So this is a look at Thursday. So for the next few days, as you can see, it's quiet, but then by the weekend, that front and that jet stream will start to slump to the south, and that will open us up to a rain and even, yes, possibly a wet snow mix. Okay, East Kootenay, look how chilly it is tonight, just 1, which means a chilly start to tomorrow morning. In the East Kootenay area, fog and frost patches, and then we are looking at it tomorrow, gusts around 40 kilometers per hour out of the south with a high 15, so another normal high. A little above normal for tomorrow in Crowsnest Pass, but gusts around 50 kilometers per hour and a whole lot of sunshine, and again that high of 19. But yes, keep in mind, cool starts to the day. When we dip this low overnight, that means we're dealing with these temperatures or around these temperatures at 7 and 8 in the morning. 21 degrees is the high for Medicine Hat tomorrow, so into the 20s, toasty day. Gusts out of the southwest at 40 kilometers per hour with a lot of sunshine. And for the Lethbridge area, we're dropping to about 1 overnight tonight. So that means by 8 in the morning, we're looking at about 4 degrees. So cool start, but getting up to a high of 22 degrees, lots of sunshine, gusts out of the southwest in the afternoon around 40 kilometers per hour. And then we'll slowly cool by Thursday, 13 degrees. And then by the weekend, Saturday night and through Sunday, that's when we look at our chance of rain and wet snow.
Counseling Alberta's 20th annual National Depression Screening Day is today. It's a province-wide initiative encouraging people to take a free, anonymous online depression screening quiz. 1 in 5 Albertans will experience a mental health issue this year. That's according to the organization. Many hesitate to seek help because of stigma, a lack of awareness, or barriers to accessing supports. The quiz can be found online at areyoufeelingok.com. Still ahead on the CTV News at 5, Connor McDavid will stay an Edmonton Oiler for at least 2 more years. We have sports coming up next. Lethbridge Hurricanes were back in action over the weekend. With just 1 win heading into the weekend, they were looking to get things on track. Friday, Lethbridge was down 2-0 early to Medicine Hat, but goals from Hudson Kibblewhite and Shane Smith brought the Canes level. The fun didn't last long as Caden McCann put the Tigers back in front midway through the second. Tigers would add an empty netter as Lethbridge loses 4-2. Now, Sunday saw the Canes on the road against the Calgary Hitmen. After Hudson Kibblewhite opened the scoring, things derailed quickly for Lethbridge. Hitmen rattled off 4 unanswered goals into what turned into a 6-2 Canes loss. Lethbridge has just 1 win in their first 6 games. Now, during Friday night's home game, the Hurricanes made WHL history. Forward Mikolas Skadauskas made history as the first Lithuanian player to play in the WHL suiting up for the Hurricanes. The 17-year-old was selected by the Canes in the 3rd round draft of the 2025 import draft. Medicine Hat Tigers finished off their weekend Saturday. They were at home against the Hitmen. Medicine Hat got off to a quick start with a pair of first-period goals from Taraslav Bragoskalav and Liam Ruck. Carter Cunningham would make it 3-0 early in the second before Calgary finally got on the board, but it was all Tigers from there. They fired off 4 unanswered goals. Medicine Hat wins big 7-1. Action across the BCHL is starting to heat up. The Bandits made a huge 10-2 win over the Cranbrook Bucks Friday night. All but 3 Brook skaters managed to record a point. The momentum didn't carry over to Saturday, though. The Bandits fell 4-3 to the Trail Smoke Eaters. Cranbrook Bucks, meanwhile, were able to get things figured out Saturday. Coming off their blowout loss, they managed a 3-2 win at home over the Salmon Arms Silverbacks. Now, the Kodiaks and Pronghorns, they each had a number of teams in action. Many are looking to make a playoff push. Saturday, the Kodiak women's soccer team grabbed a 2-1 win over the Red Deer Queens. The men's team didn't have the same luck. They were on the losing side of a 2-1 score against the Kings. Sunday, the women's team picked up another win, 3-0 over Olds College. The men's team, again, had the same score, but this time got the win, 3-0. Saturday, the Pronghorns women's soccer team lost 1-0 to the McEwen Griffins. The men's team, meanwhile, upset the MRU Cougars with a 3-0 victory. Women's rugby also found their way into the win column. They beat the Alberta Pandas 22-19 at home. Sunday was another tough day for the women's soccer, losing 2-1 to the Griffins. The women's team still looking for their first win. The men's team managed a 1-1 draw with the Canada West leading Calgary Dinos. Hockey superstar Connor McDavid is staying in Edmonton. The Oilers captain has signed a 2-year contract extension worth around $12.5 million US season. McDavid was set to become an unrestricted free agent at the end of this season with the end of his current 8-year, $100 million deal with the team. And the Toronto Blue Jays are heading into New York with a chance to sweep the Yankees following a dominant weekend.
Short toe, down, and ball. Goodbye! Vlad Jr. strikes again!
Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s Grand Slam lifted Toronto to a Game 2 victory yesterday. That is the first Grand Slam in Jays playoff history. Toronto wins 13-7 to take a 2-0 American League Division Series lead. On the mound, rookie phenom Trey Yasavage stifled the Bronx Bombers. He pitched 5.1 innings, no hits, 11 strikeouts, which is a Jays playoff record. This was the 22-year-old's fourth big league start. Still ahead on the CTV News at 5, the young golf phenom who just started the game and already has hit the perfect shot. Sometimes you just have to see it to believe it. Luckily, there is video proof of this story that will be told for years to come because this young New Brunswick golfer is just getting started. Sarah Plowman explains.
To celebrate his 14th birthday, Jack Beardsworth wanted to golf with his dad.
Let's go.
He picked up the sport earlier this year, but he's already hooked.
Not gonna lie, not all my shots are good. You know, I mean, I did just start a 9-iron.
But he's confident enough to give his dad Derek some tips.
I could kind of tell that he was a natural from the start.
Days after his 14th birthday, on the 14th hole, he swung his 8-iron.
Ah! No, it didn't. No, it didn't. No, it didn't.
I ran straight down to the hole, see if it went in. As soon as I got there, I saw no ball on the green, and I was like, oh my God, it's in the hole.
Hole-in-one!
What did you think of that moment?
In disbelief, in shock, like, barely ever happened, so I was pretty happy that it did to me.
Oh, buddy! Wow! Yes! I didn't have the phone out at all day, and so as we came to the 14th hole and he teed up, I thought, hold on, I'll take a video, you know, and proof that we were here. And so, yeah, that was the one video and one kind of photo I decided to take for the day, and that happened.
Oh my God.
Okay, dude, that was awesome. Oh my gosh.
Hole-in-one.
Wow.
What did you want for your birthday?
Money, you know.
And what did you end up getting for your birthday?
A hole-in-one.
A gift this father and son got to share. Sarah Plowman, CTV News, Hillsborough, New Brunswick.
Thank you for sharing this time with us. Now here's the early edition of the CTV National News.